Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to WhatMap, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. If you follow the channel closely, you'll know that I do a weekly stream called Treasure Hunt, where we look for maps hidden on the workshop which don't have a thumbnail. Now, normally this means that the maps are no good because it's a lower grade creator, somebody with less experience, but maybe there's one in there that might just pop. That's the thought. Well, today we've got two maps that really stood out on the workshop this week for having strong thumbnails, especially today's second map, which had some thumbnails that were just so strong that the map that I wanted to review this week had to go on the back burner. So today it's all about, do strong thumbnails make for strong maps? We'll have long to find out, but before we do any of that, I've got this. That's right, clicking that like button really does support the channel, gets me seen by more people and helps me grow a little bit more every single day. Thank you for your support. Today's first map is Cliff Beach, a vanilla map, no DLCs and assets, by JJ's Nifaroux. Should that be no DLCs or assets? I guess both work. There's your start square. I'd like to see a little less beach and a little bit more land, but there's probably just about enough to get you going there. Terrain heights, we've got a few dotted hills, most of it though is relatively flat land, which is good for building of course. Resources are good and strong and pretty usable, no complaints with those. And then if you've got Sunset Harbour and you want to do some fishing, your fishing map is ordinary, is the polite word. It works. It's always about the fish with me, isn't it, eh? Okay, off to the workshop. What do we need? Well, there you go, no DLC, no assets. Okay, we'll be using the vanilla tropical theme because vanilla tropical theme and the realistic 1.2 LUT, and that's it. There's your description. That's all there is to say. But basically, yes, this is a map about a big beach. Everybody loves a big old beach. It's about a big beach with a big cliff, which makes it difficult to get down to the beach. And also the new roads. Yes, these are, if you've been away and you haven't got the latest updates, you will have these roads. These will be part of your suite of roads to play with for free, which is nice, without the workshop. Now we do have a few trees under the roads, as I always say. That's for an Anarchy setting, which of course if you're playing vanilla you won't have. You won't be seeing these trees if you're playing Anarchy, but they're hidden underneath the roads, and I always show what's hiding under the roads and the rail for those detailers, just for the detailers. And it's also part of the tree count, and I say it every single time, and I'm sure regulars are fed up with it, and I'm kind of getting bored of it, but there's always somebody's first show, and they might be confused and puzzled, and so I'm pointing it out every single time because it's kind of, I have to. Anyway, first intersection, there we go. We'll be coming back to here and going across that route a little bit later on because there's something interesting halfway along that route that is just worth having a look at. Talking points. Yeah, it's one of those things that I don't have any words for, really. It's one of the, it's not wrong, it's not right, it's just something. When you look at the map as a whole, the most interesting part is of course the beach and the cliff, because it's all about the cliff beach. And then in the middle of the map there's not really that much to talk about apart from the one thing that's down that route, so we'll go and have a look at that of course. So anyway, yes, in terms of hitting the name on the head, I think JJ's Nifaroux has hit the name on the head here. We've got a cliff, we've got a beach, and it's vanilla. I imagine this should get like 1 million subscribers, because anybody who's looking for a beach or a cliff map or a vanilla map will find this one using those keywords. Of course, the Steam Workshop is so bad for finding anything once it's off that front page or the week of release. Unless it is incredibly popular, you just need search terms in that title, And yes, it's just, this is why I made this show. This is why this show started. I couldn't find, I've sold this story so many times, but I couldn't find a really, well, not even a really good, I could find really good maps, but I couldn't find the one that I wanted to build on. And there was one I started building on. It was a little bit, in the end, the one that I started building on, but I did it for a little while, the scaling was wrong. Sadly, I loved it. To this day, I still love it. I think it's a great statement piece map, but it was just too. All the gaps between everything were too big, and all the hills and the mountains were too big, and the river was too wide, and looking back on it, I can see that now. But yeah, then I went looking for a marsh map, and well, the one I started playing on almost put me off playing the game. So yeah. What map was born, and here we are 1500 plus episodes later, still looking for the best map for my next city build. It's ludicrous, isn't it? Anyway, I haven't really been talking much about the map because it's kind of all there down below. It's a nicely drawn road. The networking is not janky. There's nothing too much, apart from the trees that are tucked underneath. It's fine. Then we have this, which is very phallic. Very phallic. Oversized for its needs? I would say no. Given the amount of space on this map, and there's a lot of space on this map, I don't think that intersection is too big. Just because of that one reason only. Anyway, we're on a different road now. Heading down towards the start square, and we'll hit the start square intersection, which again is fine. It's fine. A few of you are going to say, oh, it won't handle the weight of traffic, and you'd probably be right, but to get started, it will do. And that's what it's all about, getting you started, getting you rolling, and you can rebuild things when the money starts coming in. Got a little roundabout down here, a little roundabout, and then a route down to the inaccessible beach. And the beach. There we go. We're using a dirt track. I think it looks okay. I mean, there's stuff I want to talk about. That's part of the reason why we're here. Is as I was doing my weekly schedule show for the BonBon Buddies on Patreon and YouTube membership, picked this one out, and I was looking at the thumbnails, and I went, "Oh, I've got something to say about that." And because I had something to say, it made it that this map had to be reviewed based on the thumbnails alone. The rail, we've got rail. Slightly clunky looking junction, but it's fine. it's good enough. It's far enough from the start square that it doesn't matter too much. Got a lovely little rail over road bridge there, and that's exactly how it should be. And then the rail does something a bit interesting. When I say something a bit interesting, the route it takes a little bit of a left here. And it looks relatively flat, but actually we're going up and through the hills. Let me switch the lines on. There you go. So yeah, the route, we come along the flat river valley, and then we're going, now, where are we going? Well, the answer is a little bit uppy downy, especially this part here, going up and over this ridge here, down again, then up again, and then swooping down. I don't think that was really necessary. Given that we're just going to the edge of the map anyway, could we not just follow the road straight off? I think that would have made a bit more sense. It's still a bit uppy downy, mind you, but I just think with that rail, I don't think there was any real purpose for it to go any further than it did. It just, it wasn't a flourishment of a rail line. And anyway, here's this thing that I said was midway across the map. I've left the lines of terrain on so you can see. It's very hard to tell, really, because there's no cliff texture and the trees don't really paint it out. But we go into an elevated viaduct, and it's a suspension bridge viaduct, and then we go into switchbacks down the other side. I'm not entirely sure I buy it. You see what I mean? I'm not entirely sure I buy it, but it was something to talk about. Also down here, the beach steepness is a little bit steep and realistic, but again, it's a kind of a fantastical map. I'd like to see a little transition in the trees and the foliage between the sand and the grass there. So this area here, it just, we got some trees on the beach. Maybe if we went with some ferns down the middle, and then maybe a few more palm trees, or just a different sort of tree on the upper part of the beach from the palm trees, just to transition it, or have the sand running right the way up to the rocks, which again, given the height of the beach, I don't believe it, I don't buy it, but it's a fantastical map, and it's fine. It'll be absolutely fine if that was to be. You can see the grid of the map coming through on some of these. Yeah, I would say we've got those there. There's a few over this way as well. The grid. So there's a little bit of smoothing that can be done. And this is really close to the edge of the map, so it doesn't matter so much. But you might want to access this area. There might be something down this way that you might want to access. We'll talk about that in a moment. Then we got this dirt track that starts in the middle of nowhere. It's fine. It's just a little statement area, little featurette, because we have the Essential Lighthouse. Isn't she lovely? Yeah, I mean, it's as good a location as any for the Essential Lighthouse. Right there on the waterfront. Makes sense. And while we're talking about lighthouses keeping the ships away from the water, let's have a little look at those shipping routes. Here's one. Here's a ship. That means we've definitely got shipping routes. Okay, these are the straight line bit here. This makes sense. I'd go with this. I don't see any need at all for any of these little right angle offshoots. I think they are completely needless, completely pointless. If you're going to have those, they need to be with a shipping triangle. But yeah, we've got, I think about 4 of them down here. They're just right angular, go off there, and there's no purpose to them. There's no need for them. They could be removed and deleted. Water flow in the start square. We've got this little bit of beach. There's not really any water motion down here. There's a little bit, but there's not much. But a beach is probably big enough to be able to pump from one side, draw from the other, and you won't pollute your peoples. So that's all that. Also, whilst we're in this little area, we've got a couple of little set plays down here as well, with the pier and a beach ship there. And then over here, a pier and a beach ship there as well. I mean, it adds a little bit more to the beach. It's all about the beach. It's all about the cliff, inaccessible beach, and a lot of rock work, which is about I can't remember if it's 5 or 10% of your total buildings with all of these rocks. Yeah, there's quite a few of them. Anyway, what do you think of this map? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Hit the I button now or the link in the description. It'll take you to the voting page where you can vote for free. But make sure you're voting on Cliff Beach by JJ's Nifaroux, because there are 2 maps. Right, what do I think of Cliff Beach? Well, aesthetically, I mean, it's fine. I don't have any real aesthetic grumbles with it. The middle of the map's a little bit meh, but it is about the beach. But that said, it is still a bit meh in the middle of the map, and the beach is okay without being spellbinding. So I can't go into 4 stars. I think we can go a little bit above middle 3, because we're selling it, aren't we? It's a beach. Detailing, yeah. Nothing to write home about. Nothing really broken. I can go just above middle 3 on that one as well. Gameplay potential. It's not inspiring for me to want to play, but it's not really broken. Anybody wanting to play it will do okay with it, okay? And it does have that slightly different thing about it as well. So I'm going to go slightly above middle 3. There you go. It's a beach that's inaccessible, and JJ's Nifaroux has absolutely hit it on the head. So credit for that. Okay, we've got a different map coming along right after this. Be right back. Right, on with today's second map, and this time we are off to the very proud nation of Poland. Yeah, Poland is where we are. It's a real-life height map with a fictional but very realistic road layout. In fact, if I didn't tell you that, you would actually believe, as I would have done, that this is the actual road layout of the area. It's very, very well done. does have some talking points, including one that's got me a little bit worried, but I haven't got time to check. So fingers crossed it's not just me. Fingers crossed. Okay, and today's second map is where San and Vistula meet by potocznymarek. Now, San and Vistula, I believe, are the two rivers. Couldn't tell you which one's which. And they meet. There's a confluence. There's your start square. Again, the road layouts are very realistic feeling, and potocznymarek has done a very good job with them. Terrain heights, it's very flat. Not super flat, but very flat for building. And very strong resources across the map as well in a vanilla playable style, so you can actually get in and do some decent industries. If you've got Sunset Harbour and you want to do some fishing, we have a nice little river mix of fish there. I like that. Okay, off to the workshop. Those thumbnails, I'll talk about those in a moment, but we've got a nicely written short description. No one-click collection, a list of items to subscribe to, including slightly obsolete couple of, well, the proprietary anarchy are slightly obsolete there. Intersection marking tools there. Procedural objects is there. Rotterdam is there. Talk about procedural objects in a moment. But down the ground level, the aesthetics that you're seeing here are slightly different from the thumbnails, because while we're using the realistic 1.4.5 European theme, there was no prescribed LUT, and when nothing is prescribed, we always go with the realistic 1.2 LUT, unless there's a very good reason not to. There's no reason not to, apart from the thumbnails. I would have to spend some time guessing what LUT is used. Something like Corn William or something like that, maybe. Don't know. Do not know. We'll have for some reason, this little section of road here requires sound barriers, but nowhere else. Apparently. Something like that. But anyway, yes. So, the aesthetics don't match the thumbnails, but of course, switching the LUT is very easy to do, and I'm sure you will do on every map play that you do anyway, so there is always that. But for the review, we'll be using realistic 1.2. Now, procedural objects. I've got nothing. I opened up procedural objects and I didn't have a single marker on the map. Also, see a splash of blue mantle there under the rail, which I couldn't find later when we go back for the flyover. Seen a lot of that this week in a few maps as well. So I'm just wondering, and realistic, if slightly clogged roads, which is realistic, I guess, roads and all that. But yes, I feel I want to apologise, but I don't know that I need to apologise. But it's one of those that I don't know at the moment. Here's your main intersection. Very, very well done. Very nicely done intersection again. But yes, with the we've had a couple of maps that have had blue mantle. I mean, very good maps. And this one I would also say is a very good map, which has also got a bit of blue mantle here and there as well. And missing procedural objects, and I was tempted to load up a map to check to see whether a map where I know has procedural objects, whether they loaded in, because with all the DLC issues we've had lately. Oh, look at the stop start here. Hello, hello. Would you like to move, please? Would you? Oh, now you're both going to move. Okay, right. Well, careful. Ooh. Good driving. Well done. Well, now they're all waiting. Yes, there's a little bit of traffic manager is listed, so you'll be able to do some fixing like you've never fixed before with the roads using traffic manager, just to speed things along. So yes, there is some traffic issues, but we are recommending traffic manager actually in the required mods. Would like to see a one-click collection. I do have a tutorial for those of you that don't know how to make collections. So yes, I'll try to remember to link that one in. But if I don't, then it's just in my tutorials playlist. Just a little scroll through, look for collections, and you'll find it. It's one of my better tutorials. I've made quite a few. Anyway, that was the rail. I wasn't too much to show you with the rail. A couple of nice little things like the rail over road, and that's about it. Nice looking river layout, nice looking fields, nice looking shapes of forests. So yeah, all of that. We've got this little wetland area here. Got a few lakes dotted around the outside. which again I'm guessing are from real life, but the amount of times we've seen maps done and there are lakes that haven't been filled in. So on the whole, I think this has been done very well. Shipping routes, there are no shipping routes. It was one of those maps that maybe there could have been, but no, chose not to. And we do have the crisscross with the air routes, which is basically all you really need to do with air routes. You don't need to be too clever with the air routes. And then a water flow in the start square. This river's got a little bit of motion in it, feeding down into the confluence. So you've got that, but we also have a secondary river over here, which doesn't have an awful lot of water. I know I'm just out of the start square here, but there really isn't that much water coming down that way. But because we do have the two rivers, it's quite possible for you to split your... Oh no, it is there actually. It was in the start square. It is possible to split up your ins and your outs without polluting your people. Right, okay, let me show you the density of the trees. I think the density of trees here feels very natural. If I drop down to ground level, if I'm walking through woodland in the UK, which I know isn't Poland, I expect to see this sort of distance between trees. I mean, you'll see more shrubs and grasses and whatever, but I don't want that yeah, it's going to clog up memory. But in terms of tree density, for just general background, I think that works beautifully. And it's a fairly decent vanilla tree theme, a tree mix even. The field painting is good enough. Okay, very difficult to actually get things to match up beautifully and cleanly. However, we do have some little jiggity-jaggities along. This part of the river stood out for me. Okay, you can just see the pixelization, digitization of the river banks. It just zigzags a little bit. So most of the river layout has been done very well. That's the one little section that jumped out to me that could have done a little bit more work. Intersection marking tool. This is one where I learned from you. These chevrons need to go pointing towards the traffic light. See the traffic here driving where it's actually driving over the barriers there, over the white lines. That white line is to block you from going over there. Whereas if you look at the traffic coming out of here, notice how it's crossing it. It kind of enticed to cross across those lines because it's not acting as a bold line. So chevrons should face the traffic. If you're making the same mistake like over here, we've got a couple of trees under the road here as well. But yeah, with these chevrons, if you're making the same mistake, don't worry. I didn't know this either until you guys, you learned me. You learned me good. You really did. Oh yeah, did I mention at the start mass transit? You will need mass transit for this one. Anyway, we do have a little bit of blue mantle under there. Looks like the simulation is paused, doesn't it? It looks like the simulation. What's going on over here? Oh, it's this roundabout again. Look at the motor scooters and mobility scooters have gone crazy. Right, motor scooter guy, you do realise there's nothing stopping you. Oh, blood. He needs to get a ticket. Hang on, who's that? All right, you mate, Thomas Mason. You need to get a ticket. You're driving out of the city. Well, you're not going to get out of the city at any speed if you... What the... Right, yeah. You need to fix this, guys. Not the map maker. Being there. Anyway, blue mantle there. Blue mantle under here. Haven't seen blue mantles like this under roads for a while. And we got 3 in a week. And they're 3 pretty decent maps that we've seen them on. So, I've got a feeling this must be update related. Must be. But I can only review as I see, and I'm going to continue to rate as I see until I find otherwise. Anyway, what do you think of today's second map? It's quite nice, isn't it? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Hit the I button now or the link in the description. It'll take you to the voting page where you can vote for free, but make sure you're voting on Where San and Vistula Meet by potocznymarek. Sorry. Right, anyway, what do I think of this lovely river map? And it is lovely. I've got to say, it's lovely. I'm grabbed by it. And I just like the layout. I think it's quite neatly done. There's just a little bit of polishing that could be done here and there. Like I say, maybe the field lines could be just a little bit cleaner. But all told, it's easily a 4-star map. I'm going to go for just below middle 4. Detailing. I'm probably sinning people for what is a DLC update issue, but I can't quite give 4 stars. There's not quite enough in the map for it with those blue mantles, so I'm going to go for a very, very, very high 3. Gameplay potential. I like it. I don't absolutely love it, but I like it. I think it deserves the 4th star, but I can't go higher than rock bottom. It's just something not quite, you know. Where San and Vistula meets by Potocznymarek. I like it. I like it a lot. I'm not into it. It's weird. I know it's really, really weird. But yeah, some maps they just say, you've got to build me. You've got to build me. That one says, that's a very nice map. And I like it. Just don't love it. It was a really good effort, I feel. Anyway, you're still here. Good. You're part of the 20 and out elite. Use the words of the day. That's the one there. In the comments to prove you're part of the 20 and out elite. I will be back very, very soon. And of course, we've got all of those YouTube shorts to catch up on. I'll see you. See you then. Bye now.